Well, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. On the table in front of us today, we've got something from Knives Fast, a loaner from Casey over at Knives Fast, and I am really interested to take a look at this. You know, I've had a lot of Benchmades, and I love all of the ones I've had, but there are a few that have always sort of had my attention that I've never really gotten my hands on. This is one of those. This is the 495 Vector. This is one of their assisted models. Blade on this thing is just beautiful. Look at that. It's a nice full-size knife, very comfortable in my big old meat hooks. Now, as I mentioned, it is assisted. You can open and close it, but because it's assisted, it's got this little tiny flipper, and it just snaps right out. It's got a very smooth action. The blade is a spear point. It's got a beautiful swedge down this top. It's a fake. It's a faux edge, right? There's no sharp on this side. This side is very sharp. Now there is. Because it is this sort of spear point, it has this flat here in the center, there isn't a lot of room for it to come down to the edge, but they've still done a very nice job of making this very, very sharp. It is, well, it's just great to hold and use. It is ambidextrous, as you can see. You can flip the clip over to this side. Is that going to show? Yeah, there we go. It's got some nice texturing on this scale material. It feels like G10, so that's what I'm going to assume that it is. Has a very interesting pivot, a little star pattern built into it there. Very simple, very plain blade. It's just got the Benchmade logo on one side, right, and then the S30V on the other with the little Benchmade address right there. It does have a lock, which only works in the open and close position. So you close that lock, and then you can't deploy the knife, which I'm not a huge fan of locks, but given how snappy this assist is, I understand why it's there. So let's take a look at what you get on this thing overall. You get 3.5 inches, just under 3.5 inches of cutting on 3.5 inches of S30V. The grip area from behind the flipper, you get just at 4 full inches to the very end right here. The overall knife end to end, 8.5 to the corner. So it is a full-size knife. Now, I can close this thing one-handed. If you had smaller hands because of the assist, I think that you'd be doing this a lot, which may or may not be why people love or don't love this knife. But for me, it's not a big deal. It's one of the advantages of having larger hands. There aren't many, but that's one of them. Let's do some size comparisons just for fun. What are we going to size compare against today? Well, here's an old friend. Here's the Benchmade Bug Out. Haven't had it on the table in a little while. As you can see, the Vector is much larger than the Bug Out. And of course, they're both Benchmade, so they have the access lock, which is very, very nice. Both are S30V. And for our large knife comparison, let's do something a little different today. This is the a slightly modified Jumbo from Spyderco, which is a big knife. And as you can see, the Vector is smaller than the Jumbo. What else do we have on the table that might be interesting? Oh, here it is against the Spartan Aster. These knives are very, very similar in size. You get just a little tiny bit. No, actually, they're almost identical in size. And I'm going to say that they're very close in weight, too. I think the Vector's probably a little lighter than the Aster. But let's find out. Let's put the old magic scale up here on the table. Magic scale. There we go. All right. Now that is zeroed out in ounces. Let's see where we land. 4.5 ounces. A little heavy for some for EDC, but not for me. It's 127 grams. I do want to point out that it does not have the standard Benchmade pocket clip on it. Now, this is the stock clip, but it's a little different from what they normally do. It is a very nice deep carry clip, and the screws don't protrude very much at all. They stick up just a little bit, not much, not enough to catch anything on the pocket. It's stamped steel. It has good spring. It's got good ramp and lots of room for tall jeans. It's got relatively interesting construction. I do like the 2 barrel spacers in the back there. And again, that blade is really pointy. If you were going to have a gas station argument with somebody, this thing would definitely do great for penetrating cuts. Now, in the short time I've had it, I haven't done a lot with it because it doesn't belong to me, but I have cut the stuff that I usually cut. And it's an excellent work blade. It really, really is. Benchmade just does a great job when they do a great job. Some people have had other experiences. I've never had a bad Benchmade. Maybe that makes me lucky, or I don't know, but that's just been my reality. Excuse my arm while I grab my calipers here. Let's go ahead and find out how much S30V they give you for your dollar. So if we grab way back here at the thickest point, so it's just 2.5 millimeters, or 100, or just over 100 thousandths. It is not thick blade steel, which is why, even though it has a very, very short secondary bevel right here, main bevel before it comes down to the secondary bevel, excuse me, it's still pretty slicey because it's not a thick chunk of S30V. The overall knife, again, is just exceptionally comfortable. Just enough of a stop right here to keep you from feeling like your hand is going to go forward. Lots of room for your thumb. Lots of room for your finger if you're going to do work up this way on the board. This is a superb pocket knife. I like Benchmade assisteds, excuse me. I've got a couple of other ones. They are one of the few knife companies that when I see the word assisted, I am not automatically turned off. This is kind of the reason why. This thing is just a great carry all the way around. And I know this is kind of a short review, but I think that's where we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. This is the Benchmade Vector. It is a superb assisted knife from Benchmade. Great blade, great handle, very comfortable in hand, rides the pocket very well. It's just a great knife if you're interested in such a thing, and I hope you might be, because here it is. Thank you so much for watching today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.